What is really good, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the podcast. You know the drill, it's one of the solo ones, and I like to start these off by recapping what a lot of the guests have come on and said recently. I think rereading, recapping, rewatching is a really good way to, not land the information, what's the word for it? Reinforce the information previously said. And I personally rewatch my own episodes, and then I sometimes rewatch other podcasts, shows, things like that, just to relive it, reinforce the information, etc. So I like to do that for you guys as well. We can go through the previous how many ever guest episodes since the most recent set started, and kind of recap what was talked about, what my thoughts were, what were some thoughts that I couldn't say then or didn't get a chance to say then that I want to say now, and then other things in there. But I do want to start off by saying I was taking a walk this morning because I took a quick walk around the block, and I don't know if I've talked on it here before, but right outside my current living space is just a forest. I walked this forest the other day, by the way. It's a really nice forest. Somebody built a trail into it just for walking. And so not every morning, but most mornings, if it's cool enough in the morning, deer will walk out from the forest and just like be on this grass area, right outside. This was the funniest thing too this morning. So what happened was I was walking up to my door. So I'm walking up the steps to my door, and up the steps, just behind the set of houses is just all this empty grassland and forest, right? So I'm walking, I'm looking down, and immediately when I look up, I see 4 deer posted up like this. Not moving, okay? One of them has antlers, so one of them is a buck, and I think there's 3 does, or maybe there's 2 does and 2 bucks, but one of them are kids, I don't know. But I see 4 deer there just posted up like this. And then so I look at them for a little bit. I didn't have my phone on me to take a video because I walked without my phone this time. But I really wish I would have caught that on camera. It was so funny. It was just like, just staring me down, like probably assessing if I'm a threat or not, if I come any closer. So I just kept, I walked, I looked at them. I turned towards my door. I'm fumbling for my keys, and I look back, and they're still like, it's so funny. It was the best way for me to start the day. I feel like it was one of the best ways that I can do that. It's one of the best ways to start the day. It was awesome. It was just cool. It was just cool. I love, I'm not somebody who naturally goes towards nature. I'm not somebody who's like, oh, I want to live in nature. I want to go camping. I want to go hiking. I want to go hunting, all that stuff, right? I'm not one of those people. I like stepping in, stepping back out, as I do with every single culture ever. Is I like stepping in, experience it, and step right back out into my own personal space. So I forget how interesting nature can be until I'm in it. And in this way, being juxtaposed to nature, it's cool. It's cool because it's not, like I said, where I work, when I'm facing my work laptop, the window's right behind it. So when I have my window open and everything in the mornings when I'm working, I just see them strolling by. There was a time when they were like maybe 5 feet from my first floor, like backyard door. They were just right there on the grass. And I was like, that's so cool to me. That is so, so cool to me. I wish there were more animals that came out like that, but it's only the deer because we live in the north. But yeah, that was how my day started. And I'm proud to say that I got a good amount of things accomplished this morning, including recording this for you guys right now. So let's start with the recaps, right? I believe the first one was Cam's of this new set. Cam Grayson, right? I kid you not, the podcast was so impromptu because I messaged him the day after Red Bull Dance happened. And I was like, you want to talk about this? He's like, let's talk about it. And then I recorded it on a Sunday, but then I released it like a month later. So that wasn't the best timing on my part, but what are you going to do? So I talked to him about Red Bull Dance, the Red Bull Dance competition, right? And how much of a shit show it was, how really poor the logistics were, really poor the format was, etc. Still, shout out to the people who won. Y'all did great. Just a really shitty battle format. And then I talked to him a little bit more about his own battles, right? He throws his own little mini jams in the Dallas, Texas area. And he, along with some of my other friends in our like generation of dancers, have been throwing battles more, throwing jams more, throwing events more, because the people who used to when we were coming up are now older, and they're like, I just want to do my own thing now, or just don't really feel like doing it. So somebody needs to do it, and so now this generation is doing it. And I'll say, like, I don't go to a lot of battles anymore. Even when I was in Dallas, I did it because all of them just felt the same. They felt boring. They felt like the same blueprint format all over again. And it wasn't fun. So I appreciate people like Cam, Rishi, D over in Austin, really trying to put on events that feel fun, feel fresh, feel new, etc. Right? And just feel more community-based orient and all that stuff, right? So his event was called, I think, Rock Your Body. I think the first one was called Ease Your Mind. This one was called Rock Your Body. And the format of this was just, one-on-one battles. And every now and then you have like a theme attached to the battle, whether it's you could only animate, you could only move in circles, you have to play a specific type of character. One of them was choose the best battle of the night, guys. And you can go search this up on YouTube, by the way. You can go search this up on YouTube. It's live. Rock Your Body by EFB, I think. You can go search this up, and it is really, really fun, these battles to watch. One of the battles was... Wow, I'm blanking so hard now. One of the battles was, I think it was Rishi versus T-Soup. And I think T-Soup had called upon our DJ Canvas to join him, and Rishi had called upon somebody else that I can't remember off my top of my head right now. And so it was a battle like that. So then it became a 2v2. It was so fire. It was so fire. I wish I could just show you guys that we could react to it together, because it was so fire, guys. So fire. But anyways, the reason why I like talking to Cam is because every now and then I need a reminder from people around me in life that you just got to fucking do the thing. Don't worry about if it lands, if it doesn't land, what are you going to do afterwards? It's not that serious. You have nothing to lose. Just fucking do it. Because like last week, I was chatting with Cam again off the podcast, and I told him, like, hey, or, we were just chatting about the episodes, and it was around that time that I was prepping for this one that I was rewatching the old episodes, or the ones starting from Cam and going forward. And he said, dude, I went back and watched some of the episodes and they're so fire. I'm like, I know they are actually so fire. And when I go back and listen to my own episodes with my guests, it gives me the same feeling as I feel listening to a Chris Williamson podcast, to a Trevor Noah, to a Trevor Noah podcast, to a Jay Shetty podcast, like all these greats that I look up to. I'm creating what it is I enjoy that I see in theirs, just with myself. And so I really enjoy that. I really do, guys. And it really surprises me whenever I go back and enjoy it. But I was talking to Cam, and I told him, hey, I reached out to these couple of people to do some guest things, but they haven't like responded. And so I'm debating on like responding, like following up or not. And he's like, nah, fuck it, dude. Keep following up. Like, be on their ass. Ask for what you want. You're not going to get it if you don't ask for what you want. In some cases, they may not have seen it, or in some cases, like, they may be completely down. They're like, this person's actually down to have conversations like this. Just ask them again. And so for one of them, I did. I reached back out and said, hey, just want to reach back out. would you like to come on and chat on the podcast? And he was like, fuck yeah, I'm down. I love conversations like this. Holy shit, you're putting me on a podcast? That's crazy. I'm down. And I'm like, oh, this was not the reaction I was expecting. Only because the initial request wasn't like necessarily responded to. And so I forget about things like that. I forget, and I get too scared to reach back out, ask again, etc. Right? Because I'm like, I don't want to be pushy. I don't want it to make me seem like, I don't want to seem desperate. Things like that. Like, I am interested in talking to this person. I just don't know how many times is too often, the frequency of requests, etc. So there are times when I'll just send one message and then not follow up. So if they don't respond, they don't respond. And so I need to be better about following up, asking again, like, yo, are you down? Like, I would love to talk to you in the podcast. Been wanting to talk to you for a while. Would love to chop it up with you. And so it was Cam, once again, that he was like, dude, just no, ask for what you want. Like, fuck it. What's the worst that can happen? You know, they say no. You won't get a response anyway. So at least now you have a confirmation, you know? And his one advice in the episode, at the end of the episode, his one advice was, don't sweat the small stuff. Don't let the minor inconveniences of a day or a thing that you're doing ruin the entire day or ruin the entire thing, right? Just because your morning started off bad doesn't mean your entire day is bad. Just because there was one logistical issue in the event that you're throwing doesn't mean the entire event is ass. Just because, you know, you make a plan to go on a trip with your friends or your spouse or whatever it is, and one thing goes awry, doesn't invalidate the rest of the trip, or it doesn't mean that the rest of the trip can't be fun or enjoyable. So I really enjoy my conversation with Cam, because conversations with my friends like this remind me of these things. Like having a hive mind in your own mind of like, it's reinforcing its own thoughts. And sometimes you need other people's words, advice, stories, etc., to break through some of the noise. That's what the conversations like these do. So I really enjoyed Cam's conversation for that specifically. I value his friendship a lot. He's a cool dude. I definitely recommend looking up the EFB videos for Rock Your Body. They were really, really dope. Really, really dope. And so next I want to take it over to Vinay, right? Vinay Mehta. This is gonna sound weird. This is gonna sound a little bit weird. I love that Vinny's a PT, because now I can use him for information that I could otherwise not get from any other people in my circle. It definitely sounds manipulative as fuck, but no, he is actually so passionate, I feel like, about what he's trying to do, his career path, his profession, and he's a very learned individual. He's learned through experience as well, and he actively, I feel like, tries to learn more, do more, help people out. And so I love talking to him about actually technical things. There's not a lot of my friends who, like, we all talk conceptual and life-based and high level everything, because not a lot of us are technical in our professions, or we don't talk about our professions like that. But he is one person that I can actually ask technical questions to. And when I think about my utility belt of relationships, you need people like that. You need people who you can like chop it up with in general, but you also like people who, you also need people who like will get into the weeds with you, will be technical with you, you know? And so when I was asking him to come back on the podcast, it was because I had this idea and I wanted to talk to him again about it. And it was basically breaking down the different ways, the different rehabilitative methods that we employ in physical therapy, or even our own lives outside of physical therapy, right? And the 8 methods, I can actually pull it up for you guys just to recap. Let's see. That's not the one. There we go. So the 8 methods were aquatic therapy, heat therapy or saunas, cryotherapy, massaging, myofascial release, massage gunning, things like that. Microneedling, cupping, scraping, and acupuncture, which I guess is part of, I guess, microneedling, but acupuncture is a little bit different there. So what was cool is I can ask him these questions because I don't know anything about these things, and he'll very honestly break down a lot of them. And so we went over the 8 different ways, right? And he broke down what they are, how do they work, what are the pros and cons, who are they best for, like who can utilize them, what would you recommend be done by a physician, a trained specialist, versus what can you try yourself at home, right? And so when we broke all these down, I was like, that's so interesting. There's a lot of things I didn't know about aquatic therapy in terms of how it like releases pressure from a lot of your joints and muscles and allows you to actually move, and how it can help you rehabilitate that way, right? Or the what was it? I think it was like cupping or scraping that he was like, you could do this yourself. You can buy the kits and stuff. You just have to really make sure you know what you're doing. Because I was like, I'm never going to use cupping myself. I'm never going to use scraping myself. I'm never going to use microneedling or acupuncture myself. And he did say towards the end of the podcast, he said, anything that you don't think you want to try yourself, you should just have somebody else do it for you. You should just go to a trained physician and have them do it for you. You don't want to risk injury because you're trying something new to do it by yourself. You know, you might as well just go to somebody else who is trained in it, etc. And this was the funniest thing. Okay, so the same day that I was talking to Cam, watching that episode, I went and watched the Vinay episode, which was giving me those which was giving me those brain tingles. And and what happened? Here, one sec. Steven, can we cut out the last little bit and just start back here? Okay, I think I'm good. Ooh, okay. So what happened was I was watching the podcast with Vinny, and I was about a third or half the way through, and I was listening to all the information, and I think we talk about massage gunning or something, and suddenly I was working while I was doing this, so my ears like perked up when I heard this, and he was talking about how, in the context of whatever it was, I can't remember, but I remember the exact thing that he was talking about. That sometimes when you're sleeping and you sleep in a very awkward position, you can compress and tighten and kind of not hurt, but stress like your shoulder joints, your shoulder muscles, like the stuff up here, the upper part of your chest, upper part of your deltoids, etc. And that can then lead to poor posture, which then can lead to further aches and pains and things like that. And as soon as he fucking said that, I was like, holy shit, is that what's been happening to me? Because for the past 3 weeks, which this also influenced why I canceled my gym membership. For the past 3 weeks, I've had really, really bad shoulder pain, especially my right shoulder, but a little bit of my left. Not as much of my left, but really bad. It's still there to my right when I try and raise it like this. And I was like, what the hell is going on? I haven't been to the gym to injure myself. I've honestly just been working, reading, maybe walking, and that's about it. And so the only thing I could think of was poor posture, really bad posture from long hours at the desk, long hours at work. When I'm at my desk, I'm not straight and working. Sometimes my arms are like this, where they're internally rotated, and then I'm working. And I think that also caused it, along with my really bad posture when I'm working. And then when I sleep and stuff, sometimes I squish my shoulder and then sleep on it or things like that. There's just some really bad kinks going just in my body. And it probably did compound with the fact that I wasn't working out. So the muscles around my shoulder joint and other things probably started to weaken, which caused more imbalances, a little bit more stress and everything like that, and more just issues. And so once he said that, I was like, fuck. Is that what's happened to me? And then he went on to like talk about a couple of solutions, which is, stretching, mobilizing it, kind of pulling out, like opening up that area, not doing heavy weight, but still doing some sort of resistance movements to strengthen the stuff around there. And it just like it haven't healed yet, but I've actively been every single day taking steps to try and heal it, I've been walking and or standing every day to help fix my posture or just avoid sitting for too long to then keep myself upright a lot, and hopefully also fix the way that my shoulders are and arms are when they're working. I've been stretching, I've been rolling, I've recently been a bit more comfortable putting weight on it again to like try push-ups and some of the Indian bell, like the club bell work, and some resistance bands work. I need to actually start doing the resistance band work again, because I think really the issue right now is my chest and upper chest area is so tight that it's pulling my shoulders forward and it's rounding my shoulders back or forward. So I need to do a lot more of the deltoid, trapezoid, or deltoid, trapezius, rhomboid, upper back. Let's just call it the upper back work to have my back pull my shoulders back around. Because when my shoulders are back, nothing hurts. It's when my shoulders are rounded forward that things start to hurt. So I can tell that that's what the issue is. But it's just cool that instead of going to like a Mike Israetel or a Williamson or a Huberman or a Athlete X or a Saturna movement video for any of that kind of stuff that I might want to look up, I could just go to one that I made myself and find the answer to my own problem. And that was when the realization hit me. I was like, I'm the fucking GOAT of this shit. Okay. I'm really that guy. I'm really that fucking guy. So that was cool. That was really cool. That's why I loved listening to Vinny's podcast. Like the two that we've done have been so technical that I love leveraging his experience, his knowledge, and even going so far as his delivery of the information is pretty good. I think the more he comes on, the more hopefully he gets like more comfortable with it. And, even if we're in person, it might be a little bit better than virtual, but his delivery of the information is very good, very comprehensible. It's not too technical, too high level, etc. Right? So everything like that podcast is just so good. It's just so good, in my opinion. And his one advice was, once again, be kind to yourself. And I think that's the central message from a lot of my friends who are, in this stage of life where you're trying to figure out what you want to do, who you are, what your interests are. Maybe things are changing. Maybe you're in a transition period. Maybe things aren't going the way you want them. And the only thing that you can do is be kind to yourself and just keep doing the thing that you're trying to do, right? Instead of berating yourself that, why can't you get this right? Why haven't we succeeded yet? What are we waiting for, etc. You can treat yourself with some compassion and say you're working really hard. You're trying your best. You're doing everything that you can. Just keep at it and keep your head up, and things will get better. And once you're kind to yourself for long enough, that just becomes a part of you. You don't fall into these traps of not being good enough, not being worth enough, not being the kind of person who's able to succeed, etc. Right? You become the person who says, keep at it, my time will come. I'm enjoying the process. So even if my results aren't what I expect, I'm still happy doing what I'm doing. And okay, cool, this didn't work, but you did a good job. Let's just try and tweak it and do it again. right? Instead of just berating yourself, etc. So that was Vinny's podcast. And the next one after Vinny was Hamza. And before I talk about Hamza, I need to drink a little bit of water. Okay. Hamza's podcast was like a personal therapy podcast. It was weird. So for a little bit of background, right? I became friends with Hamza my freshman year of college. And throughout the 4 years of college, we were still friends, but over time we started to drift apart a little bit, and that was just because of who both of us were as people. Like, we just started seeing different interests, different paths, etc. So after a while, like, I actually stopped talking to him. And so I reached out to him this year of like, yo, it's been a minute, let's catch up. But I was like, Hamza's always down, so why not just catch up like we would catch up on a phone call on live on the podcast? And that's what I did. So what I really enjoyed about talking to Hamza that I missed was this guy is very just real. Like, his emotions are real. His emotions are raw. He tells you like it is. He's very passionate, right? It's a very stark contrast to my more practical, emotionless, analytical type of thinking, delivery, expressions, etc. Right? It's just we're two different people, it feels like, but we're very similar in many ways as well. And I didn't expect the podcast to just be like me telling him about the woes of my life and him being like, fuck it, keep doing you, bro. Because I wanted to talk to him about him more about his own, which I think we just got a little bit of both. And I think that usually happens when you do more of a catch-up style interview as opposed to I'm interviewing a guest and I have questions to ask, and this is just more like, how's it going, bro? Let's chop it up. And things are just going to get said. But I appreciated Hamza's podcast just because it reminded me like of a lot of kind of going back to camping of like, I was sweating so many little details, and he was like, you just don't need to. You're good as it is. You're getting better. People like it. You just got to keep trying, figure things out, right? And in that, we also talked about his own path, right? Being the scientist that he is, which I'm going to go on the record and say this. I never expected Hamza to be where he is now in like the best way possible, just because I didn't know what his like goals were when we were friends, because we were both dancing, and we just met in the dance scene. He was in the pre-med track, I was business track. But I never knew that his path was scientist. So when he first moved away and he was going to school there and everything like that, and then he got his job and everything, and I was like, oh shit, my boy is actually a motherfucking scientist. It's so cool. It's so cool to me. Just because I just never expected it. I never expected it. I didn't know. And super proud of him. Super aggressive proud of him for doing what he did, the way he did it, how he did it, who he is, who he be, all that shit. And I think about his one advice quite a bit. He said, don't ever apologize for being you. And I mean, I think that's just a very good thing to say in general. It reminds me that, whenever I talk to people, I'm so conscious of how am I talking? Am I talking too monotone? Am I being too robotic? Does it look like I don't care? Am I being standoffish, etc.? I'm so conscious of how I'm presenting to other people, even though at the same time, there's like 80% of me that doesn't give a fuck, but there's 20% of me that's like such hyperly conscious. But I fail to realize that maybe that's just me, right? Maybe I don't just express the same way somebody else does. No, not maybe, I don't. Like, I'm not the most expressive person, and that's okay. My voice isn't the most expressive. I don't have the pitches and the changes and the tones that somebody else does, and that's okay. My voice is just my voice. When I go online to make videos and talk to people, I just assume that a video was bad because my voice was bad. I was too monotone. You sound boring, Arish. Amp it up. Change something. I don't fucking know. Try something else, right? It's your fault. And I fail to think like, maybe that's just who I am, right? And maybe I need to stop apologizing to myself for being the way I am and accept myself for being the way that I am, and then present that to the world being you and other people and my real life as well. So I appreciated that conversation with Hamza quite a bit. It was engaging. It was relaxing, to say the least. And it just felt like catching up with one of the homies. And if there's one thing I love to do in life, it's catching up with one of the homies, or multiple of the homies at the same time. There's nothing, no hidden tones there. We got to talk about Tim. But before we talk about Tim, I'll take another sip of water. Tim is a new friend. And by new, it's like within the past year, because my relationship with Tim was solely like reader to author, budding book creator to up and coming indie author. That was the only relationship we ever had, because for those of you who don't know, back in 2023, when Tim released his first book, A Vengeful Realm, The Scales of Balance, he had put it on Amazon for free. We're going to try that again, okay? When he first released his book in 2023, he put the ebook for his first book for free for the first week. And so at that point, I was also on Book Talk. So that just came across my feed somehow. I said, fuck it, free book. It's 2023. I was broke because I just bought a house. Work was getting busy. And I just wanted something different to read than what I was already reading. And so I downloaded the book. I spent like almost a week reading it. And I think that's because the book is an epic fantasy. It's deep. It's intense. It has slightly higher level prose than I was used to reading at the time. And after I got done reading it, I was like, holy shit. Nah, this one's a banger. Like, objectively, it was a like no notes written book. It has everything in it. Subjectively, I was like, this is my kind of book. It's not banter filled. It's not jokey. It's not haha funny. But it's a very like deep, layered, intriguing novel. And it benefits multiple rereads as well, or it benefits with multiple rereads. So I ended up making a video on Book Talk about this book. And I tagged Tim and everything. And he said, oh my God, thank you so much, etc. And I just left it at that. I thought it was, and I didn't even expect him to even respond. So I thought that was cool. What I didn't know until much later, when, I pre-ordered book 2, read that when it came out, I got the arc of book 3, but I ended up not being able to read it in time. So I just bought book 3 and read it when it came out. Reviewed that, and he reached out to me. And along this time, we'd like exchange a few words, and I'd like yelled at him for certain things in the book or exchange jokes with him, etc. But we weren't like on like a talking buddy basis. And what then happened was when he was releasing his 4th book, which is Ghosts of Rainia, this one right here where my finger is, the one that's above the rest of the 3, because these are paperbacks and that's a hardback. I don't know why I did that. But when he was releasing Ghosts of Rainia, which is a standalone novel, still in the Eventual Realm world, but takes place before the events of Eventual Realm, he asked, do you want to be a part of the ARC team, and do you want to join the ARC book club? We're going to read through it, read a section of the book every couple of weeks, and get online and talk about it. I said, hell yeah, I'm down. That sounds fun. And this was the first book club I've ever been a part of, in a sense. I've never done things like this. So through the book club, which is an amazing experience, by the way, and I made a whole video on my BookTube about Ghosts of Rainia at the beginning of 2024, I think. And was it 2024? No, sorry, beginning of 2025. And through that, we became friends because we just realized we have a lot of similar interests. The way we read the books we like to read, the way we think and like to talk about books is very similar. And then after talking on the podcast, if you actually went back and listened to it, you can tell that we are very similar people. We have very similar thought processes. And he reached out to me afterwards of like, do you want to join my team, in a sense of like, help me out with like certain things here and there for like the books? Do you want to, go live on TikTok and start talking about books and things like that? So I said, fuck yeah, I'm down. And so Tim just like gradually became like a pretty good friend over the past like 2 years, which is cool to see, because when you get older, when you start getting up there and you're not you can't benefit from the friendship-based, proximity-based friendship framework of school and college, and sometimes even work, because now I work from home. Making friends is hard. It's hard. You have to go out of your way to do it. It's not like you can just do it passively as you go through your day. Like, you have to go out of your way to do it. And so it was just cool to feel like I made another friend, and a couple of friends through the book club as well, and through the Discord and everything. I made a couple of friends through that endeavor. And Tim's a homie at this point. Tim's a homie. Like, if I could, I would fly over on a weekend, and we work out in, we get some couple of videos in, we get some content in. Like, we have very similar mindsets when it comes to this kind of shit. Grind, very low feelings of success. Assume things can always get better. Assume there's always more to do. Can't always enjoy and relish in the achievements that have come thus far, etc. Right? So that's really what we talked about on the podcast, on my episode with him, right? Like, I think one of the first questions I asked him was, what is your, how do you deem success? How do you, what does success mean to you, is what I asked him. And then we just took it from there. So that was really cool. I loved talking to him. I liked his one advice too. His one advice was, there are so many doubters and disbelievers, you can't be one of them. Or even if you are one of them, you have to be one of them in spite of yourself. And by that he meant, I don't think I can do this, so I gotta do this to prove myself wrong. But there's so many doubters and disbelievers out there in the world that you just can't be one of them. Like, you need to be your own biggest believer. And I like that a lot. I feel like just the way my brain works and everything, very often I have, like, because I don't really have haters. I don't really have anybody preying on my downfall because I don't have enough clout to have people preying on my downfall. But I, just growing up, whatever trauma I've had in the past, I work well under stress, under pressure, I work well with negative emotions as opposed to positive emotions. And so it's like, it's almost like I have to tell myself, you can't do this, to then get myself to be like, fuck you. Yes, I can. I'll show you. So that's where a lot of that came from. I also really enjoy talking on the podcast, talking about my own past. I hate phlegm so much. I hate this so much. Anyways, I loved talking to him about my own past because I don't tell people a lot about how the things that I do, how they get started. I just tell them that I decided to do it. But explain to him the fact that I have and do still run social experiments in my own life, explaining like, yeah, content is a social experiment of my own. And I've been running social experiments in my life that manipulate people around me throughout high school. Not manipulate in a bad way, I think. It's just like, just gathering data, really just gathering data. Maybe it's self-destructive, I don't know. But it was just cool. Like if you want to know more about the social experiments, I would recommend you go listen to the podcast. It was really good, really fun. I had a great time talking to him. We got two more. Next one is Rift again. So we talked to Rift again, right? Did I already talk about Rift? I didn't. Okay, cool. So we got to talk about Rift, right? He is somebody that I admire immensely. He is somebody that I feel like I want to be like. There's very few people in my friend circle that I say that about, but he is one of them. This year he put on the second year of his event, Ode to Dallas, which is a big Dallas dance scene jam, and it didn't go as expected. It still went well in terms of like the audience, the attenders, the viewers, their perspective. But his perspective putting it on, things could have been better. Things could have been different. It happens with everybody, right? So, he put it very short and sweet in the podcast because I could tell he didn't want to go into it. I didn't want to make him go into it. But he was like feeling a little bit bittersweet about it and wants to just take a step back from my brain just completely just turned off. He wanted to take a step back from throwing events or throwing large events like that. Maybe do a couple of mini events or like help people out with their events, etc. But he doesn't think he wants to like throw his own again for a while, which is fair. Like you want to take a step back, do your own thing, reorganize, reevaluate, figure it out how can it be better for next time before you come back through. All good. This motherfucker keeps winning things though. He keeps like, I don't even think he has to throw events, and he is just the GOAT. He's already the GOAT. Because he threw Ode to Dallas. He went to Chicago, won that shit with some friends. He went back to Chicago. I think he won something there again. He went somewhere else and won something. He went somewhere else and he got second place. And then he went somewhere. And then I'm just like, bro, you're so good at what you do. You're so good at what you do. I tell myself that Rishi is one of the best models of work at one thing for so long and you just become great at it, which was dancing, popping specifically. He's kept working. Like, I've known him, once again, I've also known of him since my freshman year of college. It was 2015. We are 10 years later and he is killing it because he spent those 10 years working on his craft. Where I myself could not spend those 10 years working on any craft. I haven't worked on a single craft for that long ever in my life. Calisthenics may have been that thing if I didn't get injured, but after I got injured, I dropped it. Rock climbing, dropped it. Content creation, this is only like year 3 of it, really. But I don't think I've been working at any single craft for 10 years like that. And so it's just his journey just reminds me that like it's his journey is what everybody says you should do. Stick to your craft and just work on it. 10 years down the line, you're goated. And it's not me, it is him though. I'm super proud of him, admire him, I admire him to bits. He is somebody that I hope to continue to witness growing and, you know, making even a bigger name for himself. Somebody that I wish to help support as well. Like I want to be a part of that journey as much as I can, and I will force my way in there and to be a part of it. But he's dope. I like the shit that he's doing, that he does a lot. He also, I like when we talked about traveling, he kind of helped me reframe traveling a little bit for myself. And I say that, I completely forgot what his advice was in the podcast. I have to go listen to it again. My memory is a piece of shit. But we talked about traveling and why I don't have the same feeling of I want to go to this place to see this thing, or like I want to go to this place, let me figure out what's there to see. It's like, okay, what is taking me to this place? Is something already taking me here? And then what can I see around it? And by that, I mean, is there like a really cool book convention happening in this city? Cool. I want to go there. And then now I'm in this new place, right? I've never been to Miami, but I want to go there to go record with Gabo and then go see Miami a little bit because I've never been to Miami, right? I want to go to Arizona to go do something in person with Tim and then maybe see Arizona a little bit. I don't know what's there, but I've never been. Right. So I prefer like events and specific things I want to do to take me to a place and then kind of see it. But, you know, I'm not just like, I want to go to Japan. What do you want to do there? I have no fucking clue. I don't fucking know. I'll find something. But even that desire is not so aggressive to where I'm like, I want to make a plan to go to Japan right now. Right fucking now, I want to go to Japan because I'm like, I don't know what the fuck I want to do there. I don't even know what the fuck I should do there, etc. Right? But our conversation helped me refrain traveling a little bit more, so I appreciated that. He's also a complete buffoon, and I love it. He's also like one of the friends who just doesn't take things so seriously, or at least tries not to. And I treasure my friends who don't take things too seriously because I have to be reminded to take things so seriously, or not to take things so seriously, because I innately take things seriously, thinking that if I don't take it seriously, I'm not doing it right. I'm not going to succeed. It's not going to go well, etc. So I just have to, you know what I mean? His one advice was also be kind to yourself. And yeah, I think being kind to yourself is just one of the things that people of my generation have been just hearing for themselves constantly. It's just be kind to yourself, be kind to yourself, be kind to yourself. That's all you can do, is just be kind to yourself. Because we get so much influx of information every single day that could make us think the opposite of like, we're not doing enough, we aren't enough, look at all these people being successful, look at their lives, they're so good, my life is so shitty in comparison. No, forget about all, and that's all just noise, right? That's all just noise. Be kind to yourself, remove the comparison bias. Your life is fine. If you want to make it better, you can make it better, but your life itself is fine. Okay? That kind of thing. And we'll end it up with Katie's, right? We'll end it up with Katie's, which was the most recent one. And Katie's somebody that I never thought I'd ask her on the podcast. And I was like, you know what? This actually might be fun. She, college friend, met her through accounting school. And I knew she was into raves. She was into like footwork, I forget, shuffling. She was into that kind of music and everything. I never knew she was going to get into DJing. until just, I think last year or whenever she started posting her first like mixes and things like that. I was like, oh shit, that's fucking dope. And she's someone who's always been supportive of my content creator journey. And I was like, this is cool that you're doing this. Head over heels happy to support any way I can. And the thing is, like, it's not even like fake support. I listen to her mixes. I put them on when I'm working, and I swear to God, I'm focused. Like, they're actually dope mixes to have, even in the background to listen to. They're not like really bad, which was cool. Like, I was like, you know, I would still support, but I'd be like, man, this thing sucks, but I still got to support it. It's not like that. So that was cool. And super proud of her DJing journey. What really stuck out to me in my conversation with her, well, a couple of things actually. But the big thing was, at this point, I think it's like year 3, maybe 4 of her DJing, maybe. Or no, maybe a year into. I think it's maybe a year into her DJing. Year and a half. I forget the time. I'm so bad with timings and details. But she's at that point where it's like she could charge people for like, you know, spinning at their event. She could charge people for like coming out and performing the service. And so it's just interesting how, you know, when I heard her talk about it, I was like, if I was in her shoes, I would never feel comfortable charging even that early. And it's not because I don't think she's good. It's not because I don't think with the person that I am, I wouldn't be able to convince myself that I'm good enough to charge at any early stage. And so I love that she is confident, and it's rightly placed confidence, because I've listened to it and I'm like, yeah, you should be charging for this actually. That she's like, no, I you know, if I, depending on like the event, I could charge for it. Or depending on the event, maybe I'll do it for free, but it's, you know, it's like with the group or whatever it is, that kind of stuff. But it was so interesting because I was like, wow, you're so much better than me. You are a different person than I am, because I could never charge for shit. I don't know what it is about money. I hate charging for shit. It's just weird. I don't know. It's something I have to break like ASAP. That's one of the things I have to break ASAP. Like, money is what runs this world, and I got to use it. I got to get it. We got to get to the bread, get to the dollar, get to the guala, get to the bag. You know what I mean? So charging earlier for your service than you actually think you need to is probably the way to go, because people will pay you. People expect to pay you. Just meet other people's expectations. That's a banger line. People expect to pay you. Meet their expectations is a banger line, if I do say so myself. That shit's fire. Okay, I'm proud of myself for that. Her 2 advice. Her 1-2 advice was actually follow through on your micro commitments to yourself. Only make commitments that you can mostly keep, and then keep them, which is dope, because I think she was so right. A little bit of our podcast was talking about like habit creation, micro habits, and once again, only telling yourself that you're going to do something you actually think you can do, so that you can keep it. You can prove to yourself that you're able to keep your own promises, to then, you know, keep doing it, make bigger promises to yourself, and also keep those, etc. And then think of your goals for the next year and actually do it. Was something that she heard in a class at the end of last year, going to 2025. And actually like actually pick something that you want to get better at, and then do it. You know, don't just be like, well, whatever's meant to be will find me. I don't need to go out and search for it. And they're like, no. Go get that shit. Go get that shit ASAP. Pick something and go get it. So that was great to hear, because, you know, I'm all about yearly mottos. We don't make resolutions, we make mottos. We'll talk about mottos at the end of the year again this year. And so that in and of itself is just dope to me. That in and of itself is cool to me. I like that. I appreciate that a lot. Yeah. So that was a recap of the past 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 episodes that we have done. Hopefully this jogged your memory a little bit or made you want to go listen to them a little bit more or re-listen to them, because I've been told multiple times that even re-listening to them is enjoyable. And if that's the case, fuck yeah. I love that. If you guys have anything that you want me to talk about on this podcast, let me know. I will either talk about it myself or find somebody to talk about it and bring them to you. If you're new here, consider subscribing to the channel, consider liking the video, and maybe just send it to somebody who you think would also enjoy it. If you have friends who like listening to podcasts and stuff, send it to somebody who you think would enjoy. Always constantly looking to expand this community of people who just want to talk about life. And really that's what we do here. So I will catch you guys later. Take it easy. Have a great rest of your day whenever you're listening to this, and see you guys in the next one. Peace.